Hello everyone, today we will be talking about the moving and adding principle. In order to discuss the moving and adding principles, we need to know these important details. Area is a measure of how much space there is on a flat surface, and in order to find the area of the shapes, we need to know these important formulas. The formulas of a rectangle, a triangle, and a square. The moving and adding principles are very useful when you do not know how to find the area of a shape or you do not know the formula of that shape. So in the moving principle, if you move a shape rigidly without stretching it, then its area does not change. This means that you can move the shape up, you can move the shape down, you can move the shape sideways, and the area will not change. An example of this principle would be the shape. When looking at the shape, you will have to use the subdivide, move, and combine method. In this method, you will first start by dividing what you think you can divide, right? So in this case, there is a triangle that on the bottom that can be divided. And after that, what you do is you have to move it. Well, you can see that on top there is a space where the triangle can go. So you move it from the bottom to the top. Then from there, you make the shape into one, and the shape will now combine into a whole rectangle. And you know how to find the area of a rectangle. The area of the rectangle is length times width. So you find the length and the width, which is 50 times 25, and you multiply it and it will give you 1,250 feet square. We will talk about the additivity principle. The additivity principle is if you combine an infinite number of shapes without overlapping them, then the area of the resulting shapes is the sum of the area of the individual shapes. This means that if you combine two shapes together and you find the area, then you will also find the area of the individual shapes. A method that includes the additivity principle is the copy and take half method, which is when you look at the shape. So right here, you look at the triangle and you copy it. So you combine them together and you make one rectangle, and then after that you find the area of that rectangle and you take half, so you divide it into two and it will give you the area of the original shape, which in this case you multiply 9 times 8 and it will give you 72 inches square, and you divide it by 2 and it will give you 36 inches square. In this example, you think to yourself, well, how do I find the area of this shape? It's not as hard as you think. So you will use the method subdivide and add. In this method, you will divide the shape into more shapes, right? And when you do that, you notice that in this certain example, they make up a rectangle. They both make up rectangles, and the area to find the area of a rectangle, use length times width. And so you find the area of one shape, which would be, well, shape 1, which would be 25 times 20, and it will give you 500. And you find the area of shape 2, which will give you 20, which will be 50 feet times 20 feet, and it will give you 1,000 feet square. And then you add them together, which will give you 1,500 feet square. It is important to know that in this method, there is not only one way you can subdivide. You could also subdivide it in another way, like in this other example, and it would give you the same exact answer except using different numbers. We could also use subtraction in order to find the area. So in the takeaway method, An example would be that let's say we are trying to find the area of a rectangle without the rectangle in the middle. So in order to do that, we will find the area of the big rectangle and we will find the area of the small rectangle, and then we would subtract them. And so in this case, we subtract the area of the big rectangle, which is 200 feet, and subtract the area of the small rectangle, and it will give us 194 feet square. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video was helpful.